The UK's green energy is going to cost them their fisheries. Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. Boris Johnson and all your predecessors, David Cameron, Tony Blair, whoever the guy was after Blair, I can't remember. France has you up against your green barrel. And it's actually kind of funny. Well, let's read this. This is nuts, man. So I get what's up with that, and they cite President Macron. Macron threatens a devastating electricity embargo against renewables, upsets Britain. And we're going to talk about an article from Joe Nova, which I'm a big fan of, joannova.com. Hands up, your fish or your electricity. Macron threatens to cut interconnector to the UK. The UK wants to get back its fishing rights as part of a Brexit deal. The French aren't too happy about that, and since the UK is heavily dependent on French interconnectors, Macron can and is holding the UK electricity grid hostage. Green energy puts the UK in a much weaker negotiating position. The French interconnectors under the channel are needed both to import reliable nuclear power and to sell off the excess fluffy green kind of unreliable electricity that UK wind power makes at random times. The value of energy sales is more than the value of the fisheries. But UK imports are larger than exports, and the UK electricity grid is so fragile that it fell over last year, leaving people stuck in the underground trains for hours and cutting off 1 million customers in an instant. The biggest weakness of all is probably the reliance on a foreign power to just keep the lights on. The cost of unplanned blackouts would trump everything else, and could the French break the UK grid with plausible deniability and some inconvenient outage? Sorry, but the interconnector had a fault? I know they might not play that me now, but who knows who'll be in charge in France 10 years from now. Macron in a last-ditch Brexit punishment with threat to devastate UK with energy blockade. Emmanuel Macron reacted furiously to Boris Johnson's claims that trade talks are over between the UK and the EU. Mr. Macron has played hardball in the talks on fisheries, insisting on Thursday that French fishermen would not be sacrificed for the sake of a deal. However, if the UK leaves the EU without a deal, then French fishermen could face being banned from British waters. In response, the French president has signaled the EU would launch a devastating energy embargo against the UK unless Boris Johnson gives up its fisheries. Following the EU summit in Brussels, Macron told French radio that if the UK does not allow French fishermen in its water, the EU would have to block the UK's energy supplies to the European market. But they have renewables to cut it. Oh, do they? Let's look at the grid, shall we? The Great Britain national grid status. All right, so right now we got demand at, about 25 gigawatts. Where do you think it comes from? You want to take a wild guess? We can see right here, there's daily demand. Right now, they're getting 17% from combined cycle gas turbines, are gas turbines whose hot exhausts are used to drive a boiler and steam engine. This two-stage process makes them very efficient in gas usage of fossil fuels. They are also quite fast to get online, so they can meet a quick and growing demand load. Less than an hour in general. So they're used to cover profitable peak demand and to balance wind output. So right now, 17% is coming from gas, 27% from nuclear. And where's the nuclear coming from? Nuclear power stations run flat out to maximize income. Since the cost of fuel is almost insignificant, it pays them to sell at any price they can get. Where's the nuclear coming from? France? Biomass is 4.8. Now, wind right now is at 44%. Well, that's interesting. So wind's almost half of their current electrical output. Not enough. And right now it's, let's see, about 10 o'clock, so it's about 4 in the morning there. So half their output is coming from wind. Not enough. And then when the wind stops, and we can see right here. Watch, we'll go down to, I think it's on this, we can see the, I can't remember, it's on here someplace. We can actually see the nuclear, where's the wind? There's hydro doesn't give them much. I can't remember. There's something on here. We can see the wind. When the sun comes up, if the sun does come up, the wind goes south. There's hardly any wind, but they don't give you anywhere near what they need. It's just not even close. And solar right now, there's no solar, so they're getting the wind, but they never really run in conjunction. Right here, right here. So here you go. You got daily hydro, pumped biosolar. Hydro is hydroelectric. Biosolar right there. You can see not enough. In fact, solar is the red Yeah, you can see just hardly any right there. It's crazy. Monthly hydro, just is not enough. I mean, there's no other way around it. So wind gives them something for sure, but it's not enough. They need more, and you can't store it. That's the thing. When the wind stops moving, there's no electricity on the. There's no. They're not filling up the grid. When the sun's not shining, there's nothing there, and they don't have the battery power. So let's keep reading, shall we? Because this is fun. Let's see. Let's see. Energy sales are worth more than fish. So somebody points out, he suggests that the right to fish in British waters was worth 650 million euros to EU fishermen, but that access to European energy markets was up to 2.3 billion to the UK. The UK imports more power than it exports. About 11% of its total power comes from the continent. Half that is from France. May 2019, the Nemo link, which runs through Richborough in Kent and Zeebrugge, and which started operating at the end of January, has increased the capacity of Britain's electricity connections with mainland Europe by a third. What could possibly go wrong? The Belgians and the Dutch might like fishing too, and the Belgians and the Dutch provide some, but 5.5% of the UK's energy. I'm not sure it's total power. Not just electricity, total power. So they say, look, we want some of that fishing too. Obviously, it's in the interest of just about every nation to trick their competitors into cutting carbon emissions with unreliable generators. Clever, shameless players talk up green energy and sign meaningless promises while making sure their own grid is reliable and cheap. Stupid, gullible patsies, Boris Johnson, David Cameron, Gordon Brown, I think it's Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, sign up for real promises and keep them. The greatest green dupe nation on earth surely goes to Australia with the fastest per capita increase in random generators while simultaneously sitting on 300 years worth of coal and the largest uranium reserves in the world. But entries from Great Britain and others will be considered. Make your case. Green dupes are applauded loudly at UN junkets, but screwed at the negotiating table or crushed in competitive markets. Handy hint to our UK friends, with China being so mean to Australia and cutting back on coal exports last week, we have some excellent value coal to spare for UK power stations to use. Just ask. This can't be correct. Isn't Great Britain now one of the renewable energy giants? So coal is rarely used? Yeah. These guys are, I'm sure Mad Vlad Putin would love to put a few spanners in the workings of the EU, just for all the favors the EU has bestowed out on Russia. Hate for Germany runs short of gas. Exactly. Oh, man, these people are nuts. All right, so let's keep reading what we got down here. This vulnerability to French energy blackmail is disaster for Britain's own making. For over a decade, British politicians have pandered to radical Greens by penalizing British operators of reliable, dispatchable generators with carbon taxes and subsidies for renewable investors. So long as France was willing to prop up Britain's green charade by sending their electricity to Britain, everyone was happy. But now the green energy fantasy is unraveling. Britain might be about to learn the hard way why reliable energy is so important. Yep, could not agree more. Man, that's couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. Boris Johnson, you can kiss my butt. That's all I gotta say about that. So that's good times. Good times. Again, right now, green energy puts the UK at the French behalf. The French controls them because energy runs the world. All right, we'll see you.